How we doing, everybody? This is That Our Nerd, and I'm coming at you today with a little bit of a different video. What we're going to do today is like an actual project, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the web, and we're going to scrape that data automatically to bring in accurate, up-to-date Pokemon card prices so that you can price your collection. So whether you're a fan of just R, or you're a fan of Pokemon cards, or you're a nerd like me, then this video is for you. Where it is a little bit of a different type of video, if you do enjoy it, if you're one of my subscribers, or even if you're not, if you enjoy it, make sure to press like, so that way I can know to make more of these types of videos in the future. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So there are a lot of apps out there where you can price your Pokemon cards, and they suck. You have to scan in every card. It's a pain in the butt. It's not great. So we don't want to have to deal with that. The other thing I see a lot of people do is they just make their own Excel files and they keep track and they don't care about the price, or if they do, they have to do it by hand every time. And that is also what you would call booty. So we don't want to do that, all right? We want to be smart. And so starting with R, what we're going to do is we're going to have two different libraries. So we need the tidyverse for this, and we also need the rvest library. So once you have both of those, I don't know why my computer's running so loud. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it sounds like it's about to take off into space. But those are the two packages you need. Hey, quiet over there, computer. So those are the two libraries that you need. Just to give a little bit more of a background, in case you aren't a nerd, we don't need too much background here. But what we're going to be using is the price guide from tcgplayer. It's a pretty reputable site. So if you Google price guide base set tcgplayer, this first link, we're going to be dealing with the base set, but there's a million different sets that you can use. So let's pull this up. Part of my computer taking off into space means I can't load a web page. All right, I think I may have calmed it down a little bit. I've kind of forgot where I'm at. I don't know what my computer is doing though. That was crazy. So anyways, this price guide, it shows all the different sets. So any different set that you could possibly ever want. We're gonna look at base set because it's the Classico. It's where it all started back in the day. But what you see here is you have the product. So that's the card name. Sorted alphabetically, the rarity of that card, the number that card is, and the market price. So if we take a look at Alakazam, that is the number 1 card in the set. And so on the bottom, it'll say 1 out of 102, right? So that's how you know you're going to have to label which cards you have, right? So you need to look at the bottom right and see what card number it is. And so for Alakazam, it's 1. If we sort by market price, Charizard is obviously the most expensive. I mean, it's the Zard. It's got to be, right? So a market price of 121. One of the problems with this or any pricing app that you're going to use is that it just looks at one single price point, right? And how does it arrive at this? Because there are so many different cards and conditions that they could be in. And my internet is still just absolutely pooping the bed here. But there's a lot of different types and conditions that you could have, right? And so really the 121 is a little bit shaky, right? So it could be less if your card is in a damaged or a bad shape, or it could be more if it's in like a really pristine condition. So assuming this ever loads, we'll come over here because this is already loaded. So you can also grade cards. Again, this isn't super important to the video, but it's kind of cool to know. And so they rate on a scale between 1 and 10, where 10 is obviously beyond perfection. Really, they call it a gem mint. So it's hard to get a 10. But anyhow, if we're looking at just a 9, and these are sold eBay listings. There's one that sold May 6th, which I don't know what today is, but a couple days ago maybe today. I don't even know. But it sold for $750. In case you're wondering, we are in the great Pokemon price inflation point where it's just going crazy. It is absolutely insane, the prices. So I actually had the chance to buy a Gem Mint 10 Venusaur. This one's base set 2, which is not as much. I think there was one sold on here for like $550. I think I saw $500. But I had the chance to buy it back a little bit ago, a few months ago, for $220. And I drug my feet, and then when I decided to pull the trigger, he didn't want to sell it anymore. What a shame. All right, so anyways, this list was what was it, 121 or something for Charizard, right? But if you look, a damaged holofoil, which means it's like bent and not in good condition, right? So you buy a bad one for $50, and depending on the price, it goes up, right? So you get a moderately played for 97, or you get a lightly played for 148. And they don't even have any near mint here, but you can buy near mint for, I don't even know, right? It's pretty expensive to buy cards in good condition. At least give us a rough baseline of where to look at, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the web, we're going to go to this HTML, and we're going to pull that data in automatically into R. So that's it. That's the background. Maybe I'll put a timestamp if you want to skip the background and go straight to the R. I don't know if I put that in there or not, but so now let's get to coding. So again, we need these two packages, tidyverse and rvest. So we'll run both those. So what we're going to do, let's make an HTML variable, and into that we're going to do read HTML. Right, so we're doing the read HTML function, and so into this, into quotes, we're going to put that link. If I can find it. And this isn't even really, link's probably not the right word. Direction to the web page. All right, so we have that read HTML. And what we're going to do, if you haven't seen these pipes and dplyr and stuff before, I have a lot of videos on those, so I'm not going to go super deep into those. You can watch those. They're great videos, in my opinion. But those will help you understand what we're doing here. But basically, the quick gist of it is we're going to do a read HTML function. We're going to give it the web page. And then the output of that is going to be this gobbledygook. It's going to be this HTML, XML stuff here. And so that doesn't really do us anything. So a nice thing that'll work for probably 75% of the tables that you want to scrape from the web is you can actually just do a HTML table, Talby, an HTML Talby table, and we're going to want to do fill is equal to true, if I can spell at any point, right? So fill is equal to true, and the reason that we do that is because a lot of tables are kind of janky on the internet. When you go out, people don't have perfectly good tables. And so if you don't do this fill is equal to true, it's just going to cut out some of the data. Or if you do fill is equal to true, it'll fill missing spots with NAs. So it's very nice. Definitely recommend. So we run that. Let's take a look. So HTML comes to us as we see in a list. So a list of 1. So we don't want it in a list. We want it in a data frame. But the data that came in looks pretty good. It looks exactly like that table over here, actually, right? So if we sort it by alphabetical, we have Abra common 43.29 Abra common 43.29, and then we have the median over there, which we're going to get rid of anyways. Alakazam holo rare 1 1651, and we have that there, right? So we're looking good. We're cooking with gas, as it were. However, there are some things that we need to do, right? So the first thing we need to do is we need to get it out of a list, because those are not fun to work with whatsoever, and we need to put it into a tibble, which again, watch all my dplyr videos and I'll talk about why these tibbles are so much better. But what we're doing here is we're going to take the first element of the list, HTML, and we're going to put it into a tibble, and then we're going to remake our HTML variable as that, right? The last thing we'll do here is we're going to select some of the variables. We do not want this listed median because obviously there are missing values here, and the median, I don't even get where that comes from whatsoever. Does it take all the prices and just take the median? I don't get what that means. I don't get what market price means either. Let's get that straight. But at least it's bad. At least they're all there instead of the median where there's a bunch of missing ones. So we're going to pipe our HTML1 list, which we move into a data frame. We're going to pipe that into a select statement. And so select is which rows do you want. And so because there is a space between market price, I'm just going to put quotes in between all these. You don't necessarily need them if you have single words for your variable names. But we do have a market price, which has a space. So we'll do product, we'll do rarity. Hopefully I can spell these. I have no idea. We might be surprised, or you might even see it while I'm typing these, but we'll keep these 4 variables. So HTML, let's take a look now. Is that not a lot cleaner? I will say this, for Tibbles over data frames, one nice thing is it doesn't print at all. I don't know if you've ever been in the situation where you have like 100,000 rows in a data frame, and then you try to print it, and then your R session, it just explodes. It even shows you the bomb. It just dies. So for this one, it prints out 10, and it also tells you what type of variable we have here. So we have a character, int, and then a character. And we might notice that we don't want that to be a character, right? In the end, that's what we're going to care about. So let's get rid of that. So what we're going to do for this is a gsub. So I'll do this separately at the beginning and then throw it into the variable after we take a look at what's going on. But what we do here is this, as I just type and don't explain whatsoever. So what we're doing, we want to look for a $sign. And we have to do a double backslash, right? Because we're doing regular expressions here. So if you've never dealt with regular expressions, basically we're searching a string for something. And so for this one, we're searching for the $sign, but we have to do the double backslash because the $sign is a special token that does a special search. And I don't do regular expressions as much as I probably should. I think that means they look for it at the end of the string. Anyways, you do the double backslash. So now it's specifically looking for this $sign character. So the way the gsub function works is what are we searching for, comma, what are we replacing it with? So we'll do open quote, close quote, no space or anything in there. So open quote, close quote. So we're taking the $sign, we're replacing it with nothing, and then the data that we're feeding it is the HTML dollar market price. And I like to just click on it when it pops up here because you need these little tick marks, and they're kind of a pain to put in. Those are not quotes, those are the tick marks, which are to the left of the 1 on most keyboards. So there you have it, there it is. So if we do that gsub there, gsub, not a gusb, gsub. All right, so now we have it without the $signs. So we can save that into HTML dollar market price. All right, so let's run that. So HTML dollar market price. So let's take one last look here at HTML. So that is that. All right, so we have the data read in from the internet. What we still need, however, is our card list. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a CSV file. I like to do it in Excel because it's a little bit easier. Make sure to save it as a CSV if you do it in Excel. And if you do it just on a text document, then that's fine too. But we'll do card. And so if we look, I mean, we've already talked about this here a little bit, but we're looking at the card number, right? So we take out our cards. We see that we have an Alakazam. I'm actually going to arrange this real quick just so we can see it a little better. Range number. So I like to go in number order this way. I think it's a little bit easier than trying to go alphabetical, but you know, whatever your cup of tea is, I suppose. We do need to save one more thing. So the nice thing, we talked about this a second ago, but it's a character. We need it to be numeric. So let's just do that real quick. So we'll say HTML dollar market price. Again, we need those tick marks. We're going to do as.numeric, HTML, dollar, market price. Let's take a look at the HTML now and arrange it by number. And so now we have that properly as a double. You might notice that some of the numbers aren't printing. I don't know why it does that, but it feels like it's printing only 3. But if we look at our actual data file here, we see it's 1651 for Alakazam. So the data is properly stored, but just not printing down there at the bottom, which is okay. All right, so we'll go through. We'll say which cards we have. I probably should have just done my set, but I didn't. So we're going to go through like we're doing it. So we look at Alakazam, we have 1. We look at the Blastoise, which is number 2, we have 1. We look at Chansey, which is number 3, and maybe we have 2 for some reason, right? And I'm just going to take this all the way down. So there's 102 cards in the set, right? 102 cards in the set. Let's say we're missing a chunk here for some reason, so we'll just delete those, right? You don't need to put zeros. You can if you want. But why would you? Just leave it empty. We'll say we have 1 of the rest of these. I'll throw in a couple 2s every now and again. There's a 2, there's a 2, there's a 2. And why not? We'll say we got a couple of the Zards. Oh wait, that's Clefairy. Charizard's 5. All right, so we have a couple Zards. I don't know, this whatever, you put in whatever you actually have, or don't, just copy this, it's fine either way. All right, so now we have our data, so let's read that in. So we'll say maybe our cards. Again, I saved this already as a CSV. I saved it as baseset.csv. So our cards, so a read underscore CSV is what I'm doing here. This is dplyr. You can use read.csv if you want, that's fine. But this automatically saves it as a tibble, which is very nice. So I saved it as something. What did I say? Base set.csv. So if we take a look at our cards, we have card 1, we have 1 of them. Card 2, we have 1, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, blah, blah, blah. All right, so all we had to do was put our card in and our count in. So now we want to see how much are our cards worth, right? We don't necessarily care how much the whole base set's worth. We want to know how much is our set that we have. How much is that worth? So we're going to do a left join. I do have videos on joins. Those are very nice too. Maybe I'll put it in the eye. I don't really know how to do that, but maybe it's done and maybe it's not. So good times we're having here, huh? We're going to do a left join. So we're going to take our cards, right, this data set here, and we're going to join it with the HTML table. Right, we want this data over there. And so what we're going to do is we need to match it, right? So we have card, and that's really the card number, but they have it saved as number here. So we're going to have to join it and then say what we're joining it by. So we'll say our cards, left join. We'll do HTML. Then you have to do a comma, and then you have to say by is equal to. Then we're going to concatenate, so a C, these two variables that we want, right? So on the left side, in our cards data set, we want to look at card, right? That's what we're joining. That's the similar variable with the two different data frames. So on the left side, we have card, and then we have to do equal to, and you have to do quotes. Most of the time with dplyr, you don't really need them, but for this one, you do need quotes. So we're going to do is equal to number. Okay, and so that joins very nicely. So even though it's not in order up here, wherever it was, right? It started at 43, it was alphabetical instead of numerical order. It comes in, and since our cards were on the left side and they were ordered, then that works like that. If you didn't order your cards, sounded a little funny to me, but if you didn't do that, then you can arrange by card, and that will order it for you. Pretty slick, right? So you might notice here that we have NA, and so this number 8, little known fact, or maybe it's big known, I don't know, but this is the Machamp, right? If you've ever seen these old cards, they're all first edition. They came in they didn't even put them in the booster packs, I don't think. They only came in the starter deck, so they made you buy that starter deck if you wanted that Machamp. But anyways, so since it's first edition, I think is why they do it, but they don't put the price information in there for it, so we're not gonna have price information for that one, but we do for the rest. All right, so now we want to get how much is our collection worth. And if we look just at market price, if we were to just sum up these variables here, that wouldn't give us how much our set is worth, right? Because we're missing some of these duplicates that we have. And those are worth money, right? And so what we're going to do here, let's actually save this. So into cards, we're going to put our cards with our joined tables. And so let's take a look at cards. All right, so that should look the same. So now we're going to take cards. We're going to mutate, which means we're going to make a new variable, and we'll call this total card value. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go down each of these different prices. We're going to take 16.5 and we're going to multiply it by 1, right? So we're going to take the market price and multiply it by how many that we have, right? So again, you're going to need these tick marks since there is a space in this variable. If we look at the variable, you can see the tick marks there, right? So we're going to take market price and multiply it by count. All right, so market price multiplied by how many cards of that do we have? And so we have 1 Alakazam, so it's 16.5. We have 1 Blastoise, which is 40. We have 2 Chanseys, so instead of being 861, it's 1720. Instead of being 121 for the Charizard, it's 243. All right, man, those Charizards are nice in the dollar value range. Those are worth some coin, if you know what I'm saying. Most Pokemon cards aren't worth much, but these, some of them, whoo-wee! Especially with the current situation in the world. I don't know if it's because people are sitting by their computers bored, or what's going on, but they've really shot up in price lately, if you know what I mean. So I don't know when you're watching this anyways, but sorry. If you don't like these tangents, make sure to leave a comment saying, these tangents suck. Just get on with it, bro. Or something like that. But if you do like them, then say, hey, I kind of like those comments. They're keep me engaged. And I don't know. I'm trying to get some feelers out here for this type of content, because there's only so many tips and tricks you can do, but there's a lot of cool data science-y projects that I could do. Nevertheless, and notwithstanding, I don't know how long this video is, but it's probably going to take me a long time to edit it and get it up. Anyways, so we have our cards, we have our total value, we have our count. So now let's see how much is our whole set worth. All right, so what we're going to want to do is take this whole total card value, and we're going to want to sum all these values up now that we have them. I'm going to do something wrong here on purpose. It's not necessarily wrong, but we're not going to get the right answer. But we're going to summarize. So we'll say our collection value is equal to the total card value, the sum of the total card value. All right, so what this is doing, the summarize means we're trying to boil it down to 1 point. All right, so we're going to take all the total card values and sum them up. And what do you think is going to happen here? Well, we're going to get NA for the answer. And the reason is, I don't know if you've used the sum function much, but if we're doing a sum and we have a missing value in there, it's going to return the whole thing as an NA. You would think it would just put it as a 0 or something, but it's not about that life. So you have to throw in a na.rm is equal to true. True. And so what this is going to do is it's going to remove, right, na.rm, remove. All right, so not that you care, but it's been a week since I just said na.rm equals true. I found out after the recording, I lost it all. So we're going to wrap this up real quick. We'll do our second take. All right, so the na.rm equals true just means we're getting rid of any missing values that we might have, right? So if we look at our cards, we don't have anything because it's been a week. So anyways, if we do that now, right, if we look just at cards, we can see that we have a missing value here at number 8, which is Machamp. They don't do the data for it. So what we're going to do now, okay, is, well, that was it. So if you run the na.rm equals true, our total collection value is 545. So pretty nice, pretty decent collection we got there, right? We're going to do 2 more things really quick here, okay? And then we'll wrap it up. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to say, what cards are we missing? And so to do that, we're going to have to use an anti-join, right? And so what this anti-join does is we take our first table, our first data frame that we're looking at. Okay, we're going to pipe that into an anti-join, okay? We're going to anti-join our cards. Then we have to do our by is equal to thing again. This time on the left side is going to be the HTML one, which is number. And we're going to say that equals card, right? Which is what's on the right side, which is our cards data frame. So if we run that, that shows us the cards that we're missing, right? So we're missing 9. We're missing, anyways, they have those listed there. They have the number and how much they cost. We'll just do a quick sum here. And let's do count is equal to n, right? So this shows us how many missing cards that we have. All right. If we wanted to do one more thing, let's put this in here too. So we'll do a summarize account equals n, and we'll do the comma and go to the next line, as you can obviously see there. But let's do total money left to blow on cardboard to complete set. It's a long variable name. So how much money do we still need to spend to be able to complete this base set that we're looking at? Well, obviously for this we're going to sum market price. And since market price has a space in it, we have to put those, again, those, whatever the tick marks, I think they call them. All right, so we're missing 9 cards, and it's going to cost us $18.60 to finish the set if we buy these cards at market price. Okay, the last thing that we'll do is we're going to do a graph. Let's just do a ggplot first, right? So we're taking our HTML table, and we're going to pipe it into a ggplot. Now we're going to look at the market price. So again, tick marks around market price. Do a plus sign, geom, histogram, and we'll do 10 bins, right? Because normally it defaults to 30, and that's too many. All right, so if we look here, it's not super meaningful because we do have an outlier, which is Charizard, and then this one is maybe, it's got 2 of them, so it's probably Blastoise and Venusaur are in that range. So let's filter out our outlier just to get some more information from the graph. So we're going to want market price to be less than $100. All right, so now we get a little bit of some more information. Most of the cards are still relatively cheap, between $0 and $2.50 or so there. But we do have some cards that are worth quite a bit more in that base set. All right, that's the end. Again, this is a little bit of a different video, a little bit more of a slow burn, a cool little project or process to go on maybe. If you did enjoy this again, and you made it this far into the video, make sure to press like so other people might be able to find it. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more of the best R content that there is anywhere on the planet. That's right here on that R Nerds channel. See ya.